In this video, we are going to talk about or explore which modes can be applied over which chord or which chord types. So let's get started. Alright, so in the last few videos we have learned that we can play each mode over its corresponding diatonic chord. So for example, if we have the first mode, which is the Ionian, if we have the one mode, if we have the one chord, we can play the first mode over that one chord. And likewise we can play the second mode, which is the Dorian, over the second chord, the second diatonic chord, which is a minor chord, of course, and then the Phrygian over the third diatonic chord, and so on. And that's fine and legitimate. Nothing's wrong with that. However, we are we are actually limited to just being able to play one mode over one chord, over a chord. So in this video, what I want to do is talk about how we can actually choose from multiple possible modes to play over a certain chord or a chord type. So what we can do actually is that alright, I'm just going to jump straight to the point. For minor chords, excuse me, I think that's like my email sound. For minor chords, we can actually play either the Dorian or the Phrygian or the Aeolian. And if you're astute, you can probably tell that the Dorian, the Phrygian, and then the Aeolian, these are the second, the third, and the sixth mode, which are actually like, if you think about the corresponding diatonic chords, they're all minor chords, right? The second chord, the third chord, the sixth chord are minor chords, right? So what we can do actually is that we can pick any of these modes to play over a minor chord. So essentially, let's see, if we have like D minor 7, we can play the D Dorian, which is like the C major scale played from D. Or we can actually play the Phrygian over this chord, the D Phrygian, which would be, wait a sec, which would be like the third chord of B flat. So it'll be like, or we can play the Aeolian, which is, what is Aeolian? So which would be kind of like which would be essentially the sixth chord of the F, the key of F, right? Because D would be like the sixth of F, like from the F's perspective. So actually, which would be okay, so actually we can play any of these modes over the D minor 7 chord, depending on what you think. And this is due to the fact that the concept of diatonic chords, once again, is closely or like really intertwined with the concept of modes. So, and I think it should make some intuitive sense. So essentially, if you have like a minor chord, like a minor 7th chord, out there exists some scale that has this chord, this minor chord, as its second chord, or as its third chord, a different scale, or as its sixth chord, another scale. So essentially, we can like the way I like to think about it is that essentially like any minor chord is kind of capable of functioning as like the second chord or the third chord or the sixth chord of some scale, and therefore like any of the modes fit actually to play over this minor chord. I think that was maybe a little bit unnecessarily wordy, but I hope you get the point. And likewise, we can actually play either the Ionian the Ionian mode or the Lydian mode over a major chord, and this is due to the fact that that the one chord and the fourth chord are major chords in diatonic chords. So let's see if we have C major seventh, then we can actually play obviously the C, but we can actually play the C Lydian over this chord. So that would be, let's see so it would be like C Lydian would be essentially a G scale played from C. So it will be like wait. Which adds this this F sharp in it actually. So actually, if you want, you could play that mode over this. So it'll be like. You can add this little note. So actually, so essentially, we can play the Ionian mode or the Lydian mode over any major chord. And then as for Mixolydian, that's like pretty much exclusively for like dominant seventh chord. And as for Locrian, that shows up, I think, rarely. I don't really use it, but that would be like for diminished chords. So essentially, the biggest takeaway from this video is that the mode and the diatonic chords, they're really closely related. Essentially, like it's the same thing. I mean, not the same thing, but closely related. I guess same thing would be quite inappropriate as a phrase. And because of that, we can actually play multiple modes. Like we can choose from multiple modes over major chords or minor chords. So yeah, I think that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.